Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Redemption HQ, your premier show for everyday heroes. I'd like to welcome you back to our newest episode, our classified episodes with Agile Heroes. But first, we've got some news to discuss. We would like to talk to you about an upcoming convention in Champaign, Illinois. Now, this is one that you're going to want to go to because Everyday Heroes and the people over at Evil Genius, they're going to be giving away some goodies. Now, that convention is Tabletop Central 2024. It is September 7th through the 8th from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. on the 8th. Now, you're going to want to go because they are giving two lucky contestants two complete sets of their cinematic adventures. That means you're going to be getting a free copy of The Crow. That means you're going to get a free copy of Escape from New York, Rambo, Pacific Rim, Kong. You're going to be getting a lot of books, so it's going to be worth your time to go. So let's just hope you're going to be one of the lucky contestants. And I would like to welcome everybody to my co-hosts after that. We've got Harlan and Rob, and they also have some news to share with you. Take it away, Harlan.
Well, all right. On the Evil Genius Games Discord, which is where everything happens from the Ego program to updates on the upcoming books to off-topic stuff to cons to everything. We have a channel that is the CEO AMA, and the Evil Genius himself, Dave Scott, has put out a call to anyone who plays consistently a campaign of Everyday Heroes, not including the Ego program, just an Everyday Heroes campaign, a submission form for a hour-long interview. It's a quick submission form. It asks how much you play, if you have the rule book, all of that. And if you're picked for the interview, interviewees will receive a free Evil Genius Games t-shirt. And that is in the CEO AMA of the Evil Genius Games Discord, right there at the top. So jump on there, fill out the form, see if you get picked for this interview, and possibly walk away with a Evil Genius Games t-shirt for the price of on the house.
Woo!
That's a score.
Big score.
Yeah, I submitted mine.
Excellent. And I think that brings us to our poll news update. We have a regular poll on the Everyday Heroes chat over in Discord. After every episode, we introduce new character archetypes, and after last episode's Strong Heroes of the Vault, I asked our fellow Evil Genius enthusiasts, our fellow Everyday Heroes players, which was their favorite: the Brutal Hero, or rather the Brutal Warrior, the Mutant Giant, or the Street Warrior. And coming in with 52% of those votes who participated is the winner, the Street Warrior.
Yeah, nice. Naturally.
Determination points for the win.
Get wrecked to go wrecked. Awesome.
Yes. I live for the Street Warrior.
It is a perfect class to go nuclear with.
Yes, I love it. So,
and it looks like Brutal Warrior came in second.
That does not surprise me. That is a strong class.
Yes,
it's strong. It's easy to get into. It doesn't have quite as many moving parts, and it is as labeled on the tin, brutal in combat. And that's not to say that the Mutant Giant didn't do well. It just didn't get as many votes as the others.
Yeah, but that's okay. I feel like most people are probably playing Highlander, I think, and obviously Street Warrior. Street Warrior was available in the EGG, right?
Escape from New York, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the online play, correct? Like that's one of the classes.
Yes. So yes, definitely.
So that's probably, I'm thinking that's another reason why that one probably got picked. People are like, oh yeah, I can play that one online. Let's go for it. So the organized
Ooh,
play.
yeah. Is that one an early unlock, or is that one right off the rip you can play Brutal Warrior?
I think it's an early unlock. I'm fairly certain the stuff you get when you first join is straight from the core book.
Okay.
Yeah, you start out straight from the core book, and then you pretty quickly unlock a handful. I definitely know Motorhead comes like right away.
Yeah.
It would make sense Street Warrior and Motorhead would come first because they come from one of the first of the CAs that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they fit well for the Ego program early on too.
Completely.
So I think that's probably what handed it helped Bandits win, but that's okay. That's all right by me because it's still such an awesome class and well designed.
Yeah. I
They're
think
all
that
winners.
Yeah,
the Mutant
exactly.
Giant lags behind because it is one of those extraordinary classes.
Yeah.
So
Which
it's
are
very
not permitted in
specialized to a
ego
setting.
play. Right.
Yes, it's very specialized to a setting that allows for mutations uh, and things that are sort of outside of the quote unquote like everyday ability.
Right.
You know, it's not you might see a street warrior here and there, but your chances of seeing a mutant giant would be slim to none.
Right.
So it stands to reason. But moving from our strong warrior talk in the past couple of episodes, we get to move to my personal favorite archetype.
Yes, today we are talking about the Agile Heroes out of the core rulebook. So if this is your
Woohoo!
first experience with this, make sure to buy a copy of Everyday Heroes. You can find copies on Roll20. You can find them on Amazon. You can find them at your local game store, hopefully for the most part. And you can find this book on at least RPG Drive Through, if I'm not mistaken. Any other websites that people can purchase this book on?
Not.
evilgeniusgames.com.
That's right.
Absolutely. Buy it straight from the source.
Straight from the tap.
And that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it
Yeah.
because they offer some great bundles. Just to let everybody know that you can buy cinematic core bundle, so you can get Kong and Pacific Rim, if I'm not mistaken. You can still get those bundled together on their website.
Yes. They're 20% off. The bundle comes in at $71.20 for the core rulebook, as well as the either Pacific Rim or the Kong Skull Island cinematic adventure. And as another note, I would buy those cinematic adventures hard copy now because as time goes on, these IPs are getting up, and these books will be going out of print while they roll in the new stuff. So I said before, I personally bought all of the cinematic adventures just to have. And when I heard they were going out of print, I bought the second copies of all the cinematic adventures as well, just in case anything should happen, flood, fire, or famine.
Yeah, that's.
Backups.
Yeah.
I need to do that. I need to get money coming in, flowing through my house, though. I'm kind of. I started a new job, but I'm still in between jobs, and you get that 2 week pay period. You gotta wait.
Yeah, been there.
Yeah. And then I'll be starting another job, so I'll have yet another. I have another 2 weeks on top of another 2 weeks till a second job starts. I start the other job and then start getting paid from that job. So yeah,
The hardest working man at Redemption HQ over here.
day job, night job, and moonlighting as a podcast host.
Putting wall to shame.
Yeah, man. Step aside. You got to get a part-time job at Nacho House.
Yeah, well, I'll be the one that's mopping the floors and washing the dishes. That's
And never knock the cleanup staff. That is the heart and soul of any enterprise.
yeah. Can't move forward at a restaurant with dirty dishes. You know what I mean?
Darn tootin'.
That's true, but based on what Redemption is doling out money-wise for these Redemption agents, I got a feeling that they've got the servers and everyone doing all that cleanup work anyway. So they're double dipping a little bit.
But with great dental, I'm sure.
They're they're a struggling clandestine organization. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut them a break for now. I mean, they are operating out of a German Mexican fusion restaurant. So
Yeah. Speaking on the cinematic adventures leaving, we did get a comment from Evil Genius themselves. They said that money's not really much of an issue. They just dropped they kind of just dropped it, but they can always pick those licenses back up. And I don't think we quite. I guess I can't remember who made the suggestion about that. It might have been me. I don't think I spoke clearly enough. It was that it's more that it's when I say freeing up money for them, it's more like you don't have to pay your employees to continue to work on that stuff. So it's you don't you're investing your time and your money into the cinematic adventures that are doing well and are proven successful. And of course, there's nothing wrong with them if they want to say, when the new Highlander TV show comes out and it's a smash hit, and Evil Genius they want to pick it back up and keep running with it. I mean, that's perfectly fine. Yeah, there was we didn't mean any offense if anybody at Evil Genius kind of took that in the wrong manner. It's just, time is money, and certainly employees are all part of that cost. And we are living in kind of some hard times, high inflation and such. So yeah, we it's definitely not meant to be of any offense from
oh
our
yeah,
part
I
to them.
figured that the the these going out of print was basically because, listen, these are cinematic adventures.
Hmm.
The universe is laid out there. The bones are there. They're there
Yeah,
for all the players and everything. And then it's just time to break into some new cinematic adventures, which I'm excited for, like the next wave that is inevitably on the horizon. So
yeah,
freeing up
absolutely.
time for that, and we've like I said, these are cinematic adventures. Are, yes, there's lore behind movies, there's background and everything, but once those bones are laid, like until the
Hmm.
next installment of a flick, a sequel or a prequel or whatever comes out, and they want to add some more stuff to it, I mean, you have everything right there. May as
Right.
well just break into whatever is upcoming next. So I
Yeah.
think there's a total of eight. Is it eight cinematic adventures
Hmm.
through
Yep.
EG right now? So I mean, I'm excited to see the next eight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And
It's
some of these have already reached their logical conclusion. Escape from New York only has Escape from LA. There's not much more you can, logically you can push forward to it. You can just let the players play what they want to play, and they can do what they want to do. But there's always an ever growing and evolving plots between Kong and Pacific Rim.
very
Pacific
true.
Rim's got a new comic that they're kickstarting right now. I believe it's called Final Flight, and it's
Ooh,
gonna be
nice.
it's like a 4 or 5 graphic novel series.
Whoa.
It's gonna be big. But yeah, they're doing a big Kickstarter for it, where you can either get 5 smaller trades, or you can get it in 2 big hardbacks inside of a slipcase. Yeah, and it's supposed to continue the stories with Charlie Hunnam's character from the first one, and Charlie Day's character, and I want to say Idris Elba's character is also, there's like more stories with him involved, and maybe
Score.
a couple other characters. But yeah,
He's badass too, man.
yeah,
His character's
it's looking
awesome.
pretty cool. So of course, that just means more material for Evil Genius, and
Yeah.
and that's what I think, that's really what's more important is whatever's staying fresh, staying current, staying alive.
Yep.
You know
New worlds to explore
Yes,
what we've
exactly.
never
that
mentioned
we
uh, about
love
the
and remember and
cinematic.
keep loving and keep using what's coming before and
Yeah,
start rolling forward too.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
on the
I'm
subject
excited.
of what's,
Oh, go ahead.
sorry about that.
Oh no,
Yeah,
go ahead.
well, on the subject of what's coming before, which we never actually touched on, there are free downloads that are prologues to the cinematic adventures on the website.
Hmm.
So there are free downloads. There is the Escape from New York, I Heart New York, which is a prologue. The Jabbit Creek, which
For
is a pro
Rambo.
for Rambo. And then there's one Dethrone a Dictator.
Yeah.
That one's a lot of fun too. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember playing
I-
that early on. I think probably when I first discovered the system, I downloaded this right away. So there are
Mhm.
a couple of free assets on there that are worth grabbing, even if you don't have the cinematic adventures yet.
Yeah, I actually ran. I ran the Jabbet Creek one, the Rambo prologue, for two friends of mine in preparation for running games at my first con last year, and we all had a blast with it.
Nice.
Those are a lot of funks that get you right into it
Mm-hmm.
because prologues, especially because they are, they're the free assets that are, enticing you. They really jump right in and give you a little bit of what's to come, as well as gets you into the action right away to get you hungry.
Through that, as they say.
True that. Yeah. Now they did take down the Crow one, right? That was up for purchase.
Foresight's Folly, I think it was.
Yeah.
I believe that one was taken down.
Okay.
But it was at least for a time playable through Ego as well, if
I'd
I'm
like to
not
play that
wrong.
one. I
Yeah,
would love to
Foresight's
play through
Folly.
that.
I ran Foresight's
I
Folly.
I believe that I did. I believe I did buy that back in the day. So yeah, maybe one of these days we can run a game.
Yeah. I purchased it too as because they launched it on sale on like Halloween. I think they sold it for like $4.99 or $2.99 or something like that, really cheap last year, and I made sure I picked it up. So yeah, I look forward to testing. I really do look forward to playing that. So, do we want to go ahead and get started here on Agile Heroes?
I'm
We
ready to
will.
rock.
All
Woo!
right, we are ready and to rock and roll. All
Hey,
right.
nimble segue.
Yeah, I completely fumbled that. Alrighty. So, for Agile Heroes, you have 10 levels of awesomeness. Let's see. As the book says, you are a master of speed and precision. You have honed your reflexes to the point you can act faster than you can think. Your pinpoint accuracy makes you deadly foe in any firefight. Agile heroes focus on ranged attacks and light weapons. Their high mobility and rapid attacks make them deadly heroes in combat. They have a 1d8 for every hero level for their health, starting off with 8 plus their constitution. At higher levels, they get a 1d8 or 5 plus 5 and their constitution for every level beyond that, and their defenses, agile movement, which is a 10 plus dexterity modifier plus agile hero defense bonus. So it's a bit more of like the traditional D20 system styled AC. They're the one guy that kind of makes things normal. If you're familiar with every other form of D&D. Um, Agile hero talents. They have fast reflexes. You have advantage on initiative rolls. And make with the quickness, you can take the dash or disengage action as a bonus action. In addition, during a foot chase, you have advantage on strength checks with the strength athletics check made as part of a gain ground action. And you have 2 minor feats or 1 major feat at levels 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. You can choose 2 minor feats or 1 major feat, as long as you meet the prerequisites. And that's what everybody's core has to based on. And then we move on to martial artist.
All right. Martial artist is one of my favorite of the agile hero archetypes, but again, they're all fantastic. And the intro says, through rigorous physical training and mental discipline, you've turned your body into a potentially deadly weapon. You prefer the weapons of an idealized past to those of the modern world. The martial artist specializes in rapid attacks and high mobility. They freely mix unarmed strikes and weapon attacks to precise effect. Their mobility helps them enter melee combat quickly. The agile hero in general is just a motion machine, and these guys are really bringing the A game here. So for saving throws, martial artists are proficient in strength and dexterity. And they get to choose 2 skill proficiencies from acrobatics, athletics, endurance, performance, sleight of hand, and stealth. As indicated in the text above, they gain proficiency not just in basic equipment, but with historical equipment as well. Makes perfect sense for the martial artist that trains in how to use not just their fists and their feet, but also swords, bow staves, anything else that comes to mind. The recommended equipment is, not surprisingly, the martial artist pack or the fitness pack. And the recommended weapons are unarmed strike or sword. At first level, the martial artist gain their signature martial arts talent. This improves the damage of their unarmed strikes by 1 die step. Now, every hero in the game starts out with a 1d4 unarmed strike, and just as we saw with the MMA strong hero, we're seeing the martial artist start at first level with a 1d6 unarmed strike. Already, your fists are hitting with the force of brass knuckles. In addition, you treat all melee weapons that do not have the heavy property as if they had the finesse property. Your training and precision with any non-heavy weapon lets you use your dexterity in melee like nobody's business. At third level, the martial artist acquires 2 talents. First, lightning strikes. This lets you make an unarmed strike as a bonus action. This is beautiful. I love this. It gives you that narrative ability to say, okay, I'm picking the lock, and then I'm bonus actioning elbow striking somebody in the face that's sneaking up behind me. I love it. Parkour allows you to ignore difficult terrain when you move. Climbing and swimming do not count as difficult movement for you. In addition, during a foot chase, you have advantage on dexterity acrobatics checks made as part of a gain ground option. Combine that with the baseline quickness advantage to athletics, and both of the possible things you can roll for gain ground, you have advantage on. And the ability to just swim or climb as if there's no difficulty whatsoever, this shows the athleticism and physical ability of the martial artist beautifully. Now, at 5th level, advanced combat training is the talent. Once during your turn, when you take the attack action, you get to make 2 attacks as part of that action. And if you choose to do a bonus action attack with that lightning strikes from level 3, that's 3 attacks in 1 turn that you can be making. Level 7, we again have 2 talents. First, evasion. When you make a dexterity saving throw to take half damage from an effect, you take no damage on a successful save, and half damage on a failed one. For those of you familiar with the really popular D20 game of D&D, this is an old favorite from most notably the Rogue and Monk class. It is a beautiful effect, and it's just perfect for those cinematic moments of diving through the window as the building explodes behind you. I love it. And advanced martial arts, the other 7th level ability. This improves your unarmed strike damage by another die step. If you have not taken any of the multi-class feats, if you've just gone straight martial artist, this means that at 7th level, your unarmed strikes are doing 1d8 of damage each hit. In addition, you now treat all melee weapons as if they had the finesse property, not just the ones that aren't heavy. That means you can now have somebody grabbing one of those heavy 2-handed swords or a heavy battle axe and start doing some really fancy attack work with it with that dexterity score. The capstone feature, 9th level, is lightning strikes twice. You can now make 2 unarmed strikes as a single bonus action. That means, with that advanced combat training, at 9th and 10th level, your martial artist is cranking out 4 attacks a turn if they want to focus on their attack abilities. I can see Chuck Norris in my head, and it's delightful.
That is sick.
I'm picturing our favorite, the all-time favorite Power Ranger, man, Tommy, just sit, you know, that's the way to do it.
The Ranger, absolutely.
You guys have a Kai yell? Do either of you have a Kai yell that you like to use?
Yeah! It's a fun one.
I like it.
Oh, thanks.
Man, it just,
Yep.
I'll tell you, Jason David Frank, which happy birthday to him. It was his birthday yesterday. So, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace, man. But yeah, he was, such a celebrated guy. I always loved his Kai yell, man. Just when he's out there throwing punches and kicks, just that sit, sit, just it's just every time you hear him do it, you're like, yeah, dude, like these
Oh man, this
putties
takes
are
me back.
these putties are dropping pebbles, man. He's just throwing those hands, man. But I don't
Oh
like
yeah.
in his when he had his MMA career. I could not imagine wanting to go into the ring against him. I feel
No.
so bad if I if I could punch him. I'd feel bad. what a what a psych out. You're fighting the Power Ranger.
Oh boy. Yeah,
Oh
that takes me back, man.
oh
Ah.
I know. Well, what's everybody's thoughts on martial artist?
I mean, this character is a fantastic mobility and attack machine.
Mm-hmm.
They have the ability to basically ignore standard difficult terrain types for water or climbing. They can crank out a massive number of attacks as they grow up in level, and no matter what they're holding or not holding, they are packing a punch, and I mean that quite literally.
Yeah.
Plus, that with that evasion in there, it's like you've got a living lightning on the field, just constantly moving and weaving and dodging.
Yeah, the mobility for this class is essential for a lot of stuff. When I look, there's certain classes that I look at in the core rule book where I think when this whole game was coming together, these were at the top of the checklist because when you're creating these cinematic universes, I mean, look at any of these, like find me one movie that doesn't have a hand-to-hand combat that involves martial arts.
Mm-hmm.
So we take the things that we love, and I know that we tend to do this where we kind of relate everything to D&D a little bit, but I think it does serve this game well because a lot of people do come from D&D and then discover Everyday Heroes because you get to put that gameplay that is so common for everybody into a modern world.
Mm-hmm.
So you're kind of filling that checklist of okay, well, any good adventurer, character, hero, uh, that martial arts bit will land into it. And I think that that fills that nicely. And what really tops it off for me is what we talked about. What you talked about is the uh, advanced martial arts at level 7.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you can take any melee weapon and give it the finesse property puts it a
Beautiful.
cut above. I mean, because this game does boast a large arsenal, especially with more coming out in the armory.
Looking
To be
forward to
able to
that
take,
immensely.
oh god, yeah, I can't wait. But to take any melee weapon and say, okay, good, you can use your dex with this. Great, because my dex is bumped up because I'm playing a martial artist.
Right.
That to me really fills out this class a lot, and obviously parkour. Anytime I hear parkour, I immediately think of The Office.
Parkour.
And also that
Parkour.
I mean, the chase mechanic in Everyday Heroes comes up so much, and there is a chase mechanic in other games, but
Mm-hmm.
I find that when I read through any of the adventures, people do enjoy like you're I've noticed that my players do enjoy the chase mechanic. I've taken this mechanic and plopped it into other games. And
It's a
so to
great
have
intensity builder.
it's got great intensity, all of the complications and challenges that are listed out in the book. So to have an ability that allows you to ignore all that difficult terrain, to be able to climb and swim is not difficult movement, an advantage on acrobatic checks for the gain ground action makes you unparalleled in those chases.
Mm-hmm.
It's like trying to outrun like Jet Li in some of his prime films.
Right.
You the answer is you don't.
Yeah, good luck.
You don't do it right. he's like diving through these tiny between him and Jackie Chan in the Forbidden Kingdom movie, they're just diving through all these improbable angles and jumping up onto bridges or from below. It's beautiful.
It's all those kung fu touchstones.
Mm-hmm.
But speaking of wanting to get away,
Haha.
you know who needs to run away a lot? We're talking about the scoundrel next.
We are talking about the scoundrel. Near and dear to my heart, like I said, the agile archetype is one of my favorites. I don't know why. When I break into a new game, I generally lean towards more dexterous characters. It's always been that way. There's something appealing to me about a character that might not necessarily be the strongest, but is able to move and use maybe that lack of strength to their advantage with more nimble action. So we land here on the scoundrel. Honorable combat is a sucker bet. There isn't a low blow, dirty trick, or cheap shot that you don't know. You've mastered the skills that can be put into disreputable uses. These skills don't make you a bad person, but you do have the necessary credentials to play the part. So the scoundrel is a capable fighter who boasts a range of useful skill proficiencies. Find yourself getting advantage on attacks, yada, yada, yada. So we'll go through the bread and butter here. Saving throws, dex, and charisma. You get to pick 3 skills out of acrobatics, deception, intimidation, security, sleight of hand, stealth, streetwise, and vehicles. You get the basic equipment and advanced equipment proficiency, which is very key. And I discovered this on my first character I created, which is a way to make this character great in combat and take use of this vital strike we'll talk about. The big thing is your criminal expertise. You get to gain expertise in one of the following skills: deception, security, sleight of hand, stealth, or streetwise. Now you have to be proficient to take expertise, but just to give you what expertise is you actually just double your proficiency bonus on it. So you get to pick one of those, double your proficiency bonus, and that'll kind of be that character's sort of go-to skill. I've actually got a character that I use in the ego here, and I took stealth for my expertise because, I went kind of down the middle with scoundrel, sneaky criminal. So I said, well, let's give him stealth, and it has paid off dividends. Recommendations for the equipment packs: it's either street criminal pack or spy pack. And the weapons are pump shotgun, brass knuckles, or stun gun for the recommendations. So this class is it's right to it. It's bare bones. It's very simple to play. I recommend it for anyone who's maybe creating a character with, we talked about the brutal warrior or the street warrior and the strong classes as being fun to jump into because you get to go into combat and lay waste to everything in your path, and it appeals to players who are big into combat. The scoundrel is your bread and butter, agile, rogue style character. So right at level 1, you get something called Vital Strike. So this is kind of like your sneak attack. So once on your turn, when you hit a target with an attack, if you had advantage on the target or an ally is within 5 feet, you deal an additional d6 of damage. Now that d6 of damage actually scales with your level. So as you move up, you start out with 1d6. At 3rd level, it goes to 2d6. 5th level, 3d6. 7th level, 4d6. And then finally, at 9th level, you go up to 5d6. And keep in mind, Vital Strike, the fact that if you have advantage on it, you get to add that. There's a little combo that I use with my ego character that allows me to make the most out of that Vital Strike. And I'll touch on that shortly. So at level 3, you get Swift, which is, as a bonus action, make a security check or a sleight of hand check, use the hide action, or use object interaction. Surprise attack at level 3 as well. You have advantage on attack rolls against any opponent that has not yet taken a turn in combat. 5th level, you get roll with it. When you take damage from an attack, you can use a reaction to halve that attack's damage, which is a must.
Nice.
7th level, you get covert expertise. Gain expertise in 2 of the following skills: deception, security, sleight of hand, stealth, or streetwise. Again, you have to be proficient with that in order to take the expertise. You don't just get to take expertise right away. You have to be proficient. And then at 9th level, you get master of subterfuge. This is a great ability. You always treat a roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So that falls from 1 to 9. It is a 10 on deception, security, sleight of hand, stealth, or streetwise checks. So my recommendation is probably if you've taken up your expertise in some of those, maybe this applies to the ones that you're not proficient in as well. So pretty much anything that you're rolling for your core skills for your class, you're just going to roll a 10 every time, no matter what. So what I wanted to touch on, which is to me the most important part of this class in combat, is the vital strike. The d6s scale up to 5d6 by level 9. Now the important thing to remember is, yes, you get to use it once per turn. It's if you have advantage or an ally is within 5 feet of you. What my character has in the ego game is what makes this so much fun is it's a scoundrel and you just give him a shotgun, right? So
Oh,
Oh
a
god.
pump action shotgun has the shot property. If you are not using the slugs, so the shot property, shotguns typically fire buckshot rounds that make it easier to hit targets at close range. This weapon has advantage on attack rolls at ranges up to 30 feet. So if you are within 30 feet, every single turn you make an attack, you are going to get to apply that vital strike. So that means, what we do is we think of D&D. Let me put myself in hide, come out from hide, gain advantage on that attack, and then I'll probably have to run and hide again. If you take the pump action shotgun, as long as you're within 30 feet, you are gaining vital strike every single time.
nice.
So if you're making a scoundrel, make sure you tuck that pump action shotgun into your bag. But it's a no frills class. It gets right into business. It tells you what it is right away. You're a scoundrel. You're a criminal. You're living in the underbelly, and you can shape this character RP wise however you'd like. Skin him a little bit differently, but there's something about this particular class, subclass that I love within the Agile Heroes because it is so meat and potatoes. You know what I mean?
hmm it's iconic feeling. It's got this truly I can accomplish anything with immense grace.
Yeah, and it's essential. I mean, if you're coming in, you need someone who's going to be able to pick locks. You need someone who's going to be able to
Mhm.
stealth in to get information. You want someone who can, the streetwise ability allows you to do a lot in the information gathering process.
Truly.
For my background, I took for the ego character, I took the crime profession, which gives me criminal record, advantage on charisma attacks or charisma rolls when interacting with a criminal underworld. I built this character as a gun runner, so it just fit the scoundrel class perfectly. So I definitely wanted to take the lead on scoundrel, and there you have it. Like I said, it's your meat and potatoes for your agile hero subclass.
And it's the skill master. It really is.
Mhm.
Yeah. Anytime you can take expertise and you have 2 opportunities to take expertise up to a total of 3 skills that you gain expertise in.
hmm
And you get the 3 proficiencies right off the rip, and it's everything that you need to be a scoundrel. I mean, when I look at these, deception, security, stealth, or intimidation, streetwise, and sleight of hand. Like those are the three skills that you're going to need if you're going to be playing that criminal underbelly kind of character.
Oh yeah, incredibly versatile out and brilliant outside of combat, lethal with the right setup, and thanks to that bonus action for hiding, you can make yourself in that right situation just about every turn.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the what do you call it that you get? The quickness. You put yourself in a position to be able to disengage from combat. So if you don't go the pump action shotgun route and you want to do a little bit more melee, get in there, make your attack, bonus action disengage, and hustle back to safety. Much like a scoundrel might do. He comes in there, he hits you with the shank a couple times, and he runs back to the safety of his cell.
Yep.
So there you have it, the scoundrel.
Beautiful.
Which I think if brings us to another one of my favorite agile subclasses, because this is a system that gives us guns and guns galore. So I hand it off to our good friend over here to take up on the sharpshooter.
All right. So, the sharpshooter. Aim true, your first shot is the only one you know you're going to get. So, you are a master of modern firearms, able to make impossible shots look effortless. Whether you're sniping targets from a mile away or dancing through a hail of bullets with a gun in either hand, you rarely miss your mark. The sharpshooter focuses on ranged weapons using either dual pistols or long guns. Both are highly effective at bringing down foes quickly. Sharpshooters are not especially durable and stick to cover in combat, which would be true. You have a the saving throws are dexterity and intelligence. Skills are picked two from acrobatics, intimidation, mechanics, perception, sleight of hand, stealth, and vehicles. Their equipment is basic equipment and advanced equipment. And they would recommend either you pick the Underworld pack or the Sniper pack. And for weapons, either two concealed carry pistols or a sniper rifle. At level 1, they have gunslinging and sharpshooting. Gunslinging is described as you can draw two one-handed light weapons as a free action. In addition, you can reload two guns as part of the same action without needing a free hand. And for sharpshooting, when using two-handed ranged weapons, if you don't move during your turn, you gain a +2 to attack rolls with that weapon. In addition, you ignore the slow firing property of ranged weapons. At level 3, you have improved gunslinging, which you can add your dexterity modifier to your damage rolls made with offhand ranged attacks. And improved sharpshooting. You gain the following benefits when using two-handed ranged weapon, and you don't move during your turn. You do not. Sorry, let me readjust here. My book is falling out of my hands. You do not have disadvantage on attack rolls due to long range. When attacking a target behind 3/4 or half cover, you treat their cover as if it were one category lower for purposes of their defense. And so 3/4 cover is treated as half, and half cover is treated as no cover at all. At level 5, you have advanced combat training. Once during your turn, when you take the attack action, you can make two attacks as part of that action. And headshot. At level 7, you score a critical hit on a roll of 19 or 20 when making ranged attacks. And at level 9, supreme ranged combat training. Once during your turn, when you take the attack action, you can make 3 ranged attacks as part of that action. This talent supersedes the advanced combat training.
Whoa.
So, yeah. To go over some of this, so some of these packs here, you got sniper pack, right? So you have inconspicuous clothing. You get some of your gears like bag stuff, pocket stuff, wind speed gauge, and monocular. You get a common car, and or you can get a sniper rifle in a carrying case, or a hunting rifle in a duffel bag. But you also don't get any armor. Sniper pack's a good way to go.
Yeah.
That's four
If you
for
don't
me.
need the armor, then stay far back and just take pot shots on the long gun.
You're here. I mean, you can. What was the expression? You guys ever see the old film with Sean Connery, The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alan Quartermain, you're pipping the ace at 100 yards.
I haven't thought of that movie in at least 15 years.
I'm an old soul. That's it's the ability to reach out and touch someone in a tangible, bullet-laden way. This can be your sniper. This can be your John Wick gun fu master. This is a whirlwind of lead.
Oh, I know. I can't help but think of that scene from The Losers when Chris Evans he's pointing his finger
Oh,
and the sniper's hitting each person he's pointing at.
I love that movie.
It's such a great scene.
Oh, absolutely. Great film. Wonderful action sequences.
Mm-hmm.
Good twist.
Just to add, I know it seems like we love every single subclass that we talk about. I have one qualm with building a sniper.
Yeah.
And here's what it is. I have built snipers, and then I have found myself being like, I am never on a battle mat that is long enough to be like, all right, I am 300 yards out.
Yeah.
Until
a fair point.
We played an ego game, which put us out in the middle of the ocean. And I was looking at the battle mat, and I was like, I wish I was floating around here with a sniper rifle. This would have really benefited from this. But you can find yourself in advantageous position. I think the key for this is you get yourself in a nice high position.
High ground.
Mm-hmm.
High ground, and you take your shots from there untouched. You don't even need the armor anyway. But yes, that I'm going to throw in the one qualm I have with when I build a sniper is that I want to sit at that max range and be at a point where you have to scroll down on roll. If you're playing on roll 20, I want you to have to scroll down to find my token. Or if you're playing on a battle mat in person, I want you to have to get up from the table and walk all the way to my character. But other than that, no qualms.
And I think I think that's just a game designer thing too. That's kind of more of I think most people are so programmed to think Dungeons and Dragons where bows have a decent reach, but most of the time, even most people who are playing as archers, um, can tend to find themselves in the thick of things. But so modern day warfare, I mean, we're looking at you can kill people from hundreds of miles away, even on the other side of the globe, with a joystick and and a TV monitor. So it is kind of interesting that you do bring that up. That is a good point that I think game designers need to start putting that into consideration with guns and even superpowers and superhero campaigns. That battle maps really do need to be bigger in scale, um, even with buildings. Tall buildings have to. People really need to get that 3D, that sense of 3D in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, that is a good point to bring up.
You see that in wargaming, obviously, if you play Warhammer.
Yeah.
If you play 40K, you're dealing with terrain a lot. If you play Twilight 2000, which is, a tabletop game, but the scale on the map is a little bit larger. So you could actually find yourself setting up from a distance a little bit more, but that is based it's based heavily in wargaming itself.
Yeah.
So you're going to find yourself at those long distance things, which is another reason I'll be interested to see the military heroes, because I wonder
Definitely.
if they'll tackle something like that. And it does come down to what kind of game you're running as a GM too. I mean, it is, if you want that scale as a GM and you know that your players are kind of aching for that sort of build up 3D perspective,
Mhm.
then maybe scale your battle map differently. Be like, hey, we're doing this on on a wide open plane. We're looking at a cityscape. These squares are now 20 feet instead of 5.
Yeah.
And when
But it
I
comes
think
down,
of the
comes down to what
sharpshooter,
you're running.
yeah, that's a great point. When I think of the sharpshooter, do you guys ever see the TV show NCIS?
I love NCIS, dude.
Gibbs.
Oh,
Gibbs.
yeah,
This
dude.
here is Gibbs as Sniper Marine.
Yeah.
Yes. When he gets
And
DiNozzo and them out of the I
out
forget
of
where they're
the,
holding them, and he takes that and they zoom all
it's
the
when
way
When
out
Ziva
here.
got kidnapped and Tony
Yeah.
and McGee go undercover, let themselves get abducted,
Yeah.
and Tony just keeps talking and flashback in the whole episode. Says, "Oh, there's one more. I forgot one guy on the team. He's our boss. He's the Marine sniper. Bye bye."
And then they have that shot of him in the ghillie suit at the end of the hallway.
Oh,
Oh, what a badass, man. Oh,
yeah.
you
I'm
touched my
not gonna lie. NCIS cast is on my list of character builds for Everyday Heroes.
Oh yeah, man. Definitely. I mean, Ziva is like a superhero.
Absolutely.
She's incredible. McGee's a bit of a nerd, but he really grows.
He's very versatile as his character grows, and I definitely see him starting out with the hacker class with his tech skills, and growing into a nice sleuth role.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, once you've got pre DiNozzo's departure and post DiNozzo's departure, where he really steps up and is like top dog agent.
Oh yeah, and DiNozzo's definitely an icon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a
charismatic
schmarmy
dude.
fella.
Yeah, yeah. He's DiNozzo's your face,
Oh yeah, he's face from the A-Team.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Oh.
DiNozzo's awesome, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm surprised we've gotten this into this is the 5th episode without bringing up NCIS.
Oh yeah. Now there's all. I mean, this is the perfect game for bringing some of your favorite modern and classic TV action shows and detective shows to life. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, my next build is probably going to be like Veronica Mars.
Oh, so many awesome opportunities there.
Yeah. Mars Investigations. It speaks to it.
Truly does. Truly does.
Yeah. But more importantly, we can't let an episode go by without reminding everybody that Eric Roberts is a martial artist.
And a distant cousin to fellow actor Edward Norton.
Oh, that's true.
I did not know that, actually.
At the start of every episode, I'm passively doing a deep dive into Eric Roberts' background.
So we got to keep the tradition going.
Yeah, well, I try to scan his stuff. He's been in not 1, but 2 music videos for The Killers.
Oh.
That's right.
There you go.
Yeah, Mr. Brightside being the more popular one. I don't remember what the second one is though.
The second one is I lost my Mr. Brightside and Miss Atomic Bomb in 2012. So almost 10 years later, he comes back to The Killers for another music video. And to the cherry on top, not 1, but 2 Mariah Carey music videos.
No way.
We Belong Together, and It's Like That.
Huh.
We
Mm-hmm.
belong together. That's a good song.
Yep. Yep. Oh my God.
She is a fantastic singer.
And not one, but two Ja Rule music videos.
Oh shit.
Really? Huh.
Huh. Good for Eric Roberts, man. We should all try to have the work ethic and the stick to it attitude that Eric Roberts has.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I
hey,
think
you cannot pass up his martial arts hit, Best of the Best, and Best of the Best Part Two. He's in Part Two, so he's been in a couple of them.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Or the famed Nigerian comedy drama A Trip to Jamaica,
Huh.
which I have never heard of, but
Uh,
I don't want to
That's a
burn
new
through
one.
all of our Eric Roberts factoids.
We got another episode of Agile and at least 2 episodes for all the other character archetypes. We gotta make sure there's enough Eric Roberts to go around.
Oh, there's going to be enough to go around. I don't care if I have to start making up facts.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to
Awesome.
it. I mean, he's got such a long list.
He's got like 300 movie credits. It's insane.
Like,
Prolific.
oh yeah, Ape, his classic Ape versus Monster from 27 or 2021. Can't beat that. Or Jingle Smells from 2023, the Christmas classic. Which, speaking of, that's something we forgot to mention. Was that Evil Genius just released their Patreon stuff, all their Patreon
That's
news stuff,
right.
all the way until
Oh,
December.
yeah.
And November is going to be it's an early Christmas. They're giving us some Christmas adventures.
I really appreciate the
Excellent.
scheduling. I love that they released a schedule to kind of let you know what you're going to get with the Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
And it is by far one of the most reasonably priced Patreons I've seen for what you get.
Yeah.
It really is.
You know, there's a lot of Patreons for, get on the $25 tier and you get, this thing and that thing. They're like, no, jump on for a couple of bucks and we'll start throwing you stuff. We'll start throwing you usable things all the time.
Yeah.
And this stuff is obviously all this information comes dripping through the Evil Genius Games Discord. I mean, obviously it's on the website and everything, but if you are not on the Discord, you should be on it because you hear all the information first. That's where all this cool stuff, like the interview for a free T-shirt.
Yeah.
You get updates on the Ego program. You get up to date stuff on cons. You get discussions about the cinematic adventures. There's a lot of homebrew talk on here. There's a ton of channels. There's something here for everybody who has any level of interest in Everyday Heroes, the Evil Genius organized gaming. There's a huge community on there that's going to give you a lot. So
Here,
definitely
here.
recommend.
You can always
But
start a podcast off of their Discord.
yes, that's true.
We did.
That's what all of us do. So there's a lot going on over there and a lot of good people on there. So
Yeah.
get onto that Discord. You'll get information on the website, but you'll know about it before it hits the website if you're on the Discord. So I highly recommend it. Also, that's where if you're looking for ego games, there are a ton of places where they are posted. I myself am running 3 games through the month of September. Assignments 4, 5, and 6. You can find me Harlan Reaver on the Dispatch app. Saturdays noon to 4. I've got open spots for anyone who's interested.
Hopefully, some listeners will join in on that.
Yeah, this Saturday's game is filling up. We've got a couple spots left, which I think my fellow co-hosts might try to jump in on. But like I said, there's two more through the month of September. I'm going to try to keep up. Obviously I'd love to do 3 to 4 games a month, but I also run D&D groups throughout the week. So I'm gonna what we're all trying to do as people who are running games is to keep 3 games posted so that we always have spots open for people that are coming into Ego. So I will always have 3 games up on the dispatch. Once I finish one on Saturday, I will post a new third one for the following month. So
Awesome.
there will be plenty of stuff up on there, and I know a lot of other thing. So you will see an explosion of available games up on the dispatch app.
That's awesome, man. I
Mhm.
really hope my schedule lets me try to join in one of those.
Yeah, man. Like I said, they'll be there. So dollars to donuts. You'll find one spot, one time
Yeah.
you can jump.
I,
So yeah,
yeah, I
I
know
mean,
I'm free this Saturday. Oh, next Saturday I will not be. I know I'm gonna be I'll be working as an usher in a friend of mine's wedding.
Oh,
congratulations.
congrats.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. He was a Green Beret. He served over in Afghanistan. Um,
Wow.
nearly lost his life a couple of times to some dangerous firefights. Took him a while, but he found himself a good woman, and they've been happy together for quite some time. And I've been looking forward to their wedding for over a year now. So
That's
Uh,
beautiful.
another everyday hero getting married.
Here,
yeah,
here.
so yeah,
And big shout out. Yeah.
yeah, congrats to Preston, man. He's a good man. I've known him. God, we've probably since junior high, I think, is when I met him, and
Big shout out to him.
yeah, I've been friends with him ever since, and our paths would cross a bunch of times as adults, and he succeeded, and I failed to join the fleet, and he made a good career out of it. He tried to do a lot of stuff for the veterans in our local area, um, with helping organize Veterans Day stuff and Memorial Day stuff. He's good people, so it's I'm very happy for him.
Well, good for him, man.
Yeah.
Well, boys, looks like we've gone through the Agile Heroes and everything. Should we close it out for this episode?
Sounds like a good spot.
Yeah.
I would like to plug one thing if I could.
Okay.
A fellow Evil Genius game master guy, Lee Anderson, was a volunteer. Runs a ton of games. Is active. Works with Evil Genius Games. He also has a YouTube channel. It's just Lee Anderson, and what he is doing is he is putting up bite-sized videos. I mean,
Ooh,
they are. I was just, the longest one here is 6 minutes. So he's taking bite-sized mechanical information about everyday heroes.
that's
Okay.
fantastic.
So he's got a few videos up. He talks about the jargon of everyday. Another one is a brief character creation. Another one he's going through the attributes. And I know he's working through these videos sort of as a GM school for people who are volunteering and running games for everyday heroes. But he's a really great teacher. He knows this system really well. So if you happen to be looking for quick little bits to send, people who might be new to the game that you're bringing into your existing campaign, or if they're jumping onto your ego campaign, I would highly recommend piecing through his videos for a quick, munchable bit, a snackable, as they call it on the on the
Yeah.
Evil Genius games. But yeah, he's starting it up, and I know he's pouring a lot of videos into it. So they're very simple. It's a run through of the title. It gives you exactly what you need. You watch those, and you'll be able to get right into the game. So
Perfect.
Excellent.
which is
Yeah, that's awesome, Lee.
yeah,
Yeah, he
very
Shout
actually
out to
does.
you.
requested of us.
Uh,
That's for sure.
yeah,
we go long form.
he's
Yeah,
done
we're
some
a
of the
long format,
for
which we've got
he's
our
done some of the
audience. You know.
maps for Ego, so he's actively involved in it. So if you see
Nice.
some of those beautiful maps in the Ego Adventures, he did a bunch of those.
Oh, nice.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, I guess that brings our Agile episode 1 to a close, and take a look at those Agile Vault classes at another time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So who is gonna go see The Crow this weekend?
That is on my to-do list.
Okay,
I think I'm gonna hit a matinee.
matinee. That's the way to do it. It's
I don't go to the movies at night anymore. I don't have the bandwidth for it.
yeah,
Or
no, I
and or
understand.
and the prices get a little nutty sometimes.
Give
Yes.
me a noon showing where I can sit in the theater by myself. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
So yeah, because I've already seen it. I saw it the other week, and so this probably won't be in the I'm not going to give any details away, but I definitely feel like it's a movie that's getting a lot of undeserved hatred. That's my one thing I'll say about it right now. If you
Cult
take
movies will always get that. Cult
Yeah,
movies will never live up to the original based on its fan base. It's
yeah,
just it'll never get its just due. You know, even if the movie was a cinematic masterpiece, there'll be a loud group of individuals who were like, "Oh, it sucked. This was the problem." It's like, well, if you wanted to just watch the original,
yeah,
like just go with the original. We all know it's a reboot. We're what 30 years, 30 years from the original,
Wow, it has been a while, hasn't it?
yeah,
early 90s, right?
yeah. It was
Yeah.
94. Yeah, this year was its 30th.
So yeah, I mean, you
So
got to expect something different, and it's the same thing as bands who cover songs. If
right,
you wanted to hear an exact recreation of that song, you'd be like, well, it just sounds like the first one. It's nothing to it.
right.
I always look at these reboots as a cover.
Yeah, and that's really just the best way to look at it because it's not necessarily even a reboot. It really is its own thing. I feel like some people calling it a reboot, or a remake is a misnomer because it's vastly different, but it's different in very specific ways. We can discuss that when we get around to reviewing it, either later this week or whenever everybody's available to sit down. We can talk about it. Now I am working on something for it. It's taken me a little bit while longer to kind of hammer it out, but I'm working on a new class for the Crow setting that I hopefully people will like.
Oh,
I
So
remember you mentioning it in
yeah,
some of the posts online. Yeah.
yeah. So the
I
original
won't
name
I
I was
won't
gonna
spoil it.
yeah, I was gonna say the original name I was gonna give it was the Diabolist, but I was like, I after watching I watched a couple of episodes of X-Files, particularly the ones where Mulder gets trapped in the underground train and he finds the alien corpses. And
Ooh.
the government, they're like they're trying to kill him because they want him gone, but he manages to find a hole that was in the train and escape through a tunnel, and he survives. Anyway, so he's rocking it with this Native American tribe, and they're doing these healing rituals with him, and I was like, okay, I need to expand this class a lot more. So I came up with
Expand
a
the concept a
lot
tad.
more. Yeah, so it's gonna
Okay.
be it's a ritualist is what I've renamed it to be, and I'm currently working on it,
Oh.
and it's gonna lean real heavy into all the Crow themes and all of that. So
can't
yeah,
wait to see it.
yeah, and you'll learn, and I'll tell you, keep your eyes open for in this new Crow movie. A lot of evil genius stuff kind of shows up in this new Crow movie. You'll catch it. You'll catch it when you start watching it. It's
All
good.
right.
So
That's awesome.
I'll
Yeah.
have to keep an eye out.
Yeah. So I hope you guys will enjoy that. And anybody who hasn't seen it, if anybody in the audience you've heard a lot of poo poo stuff, give it a shot. I mean, if you don't want to see it in theaters, wait till it's on streaming, or maybe rent it for cheap on whatever services you like to use. But I do genuinely think it's worth watching for sure.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna go see it. I'm gonna see if I can
Uh,
find a theater that's showing it nearby, and like I said, I'll probably just hit a matinee tomorrow.
Mhm.
And
I've
well, not tomorrow. Or tomorrow's Friday. Hell yeah, I can hit 'em.
Yeah, perfect.
Beauty of that 4-day work week. You just got to
Woo.
pour all your time in Monday, Thursday, and wake up super early. But I can live with that if it means a 3-day weekend.
Nice.
Alrighty.
All right. So with that, I guess we can go ahead and sign off. And everybody out there in wonderful YouTube land, you have a wonderful day or night or breakfast or lunch or whatever it is that you're listening to this show. If you're popping us on while you're at work, I hope your work day goes good. And whoever steals your lunch, that they get sick horribly and never steal your lunch again. How's that?
Amen to that.
Awesome. Yeah. Good night, everybody.
Good
This
night.
is signing off.
Signing off.
Signing off.